Was zur Hölle sind eure Community-Richtlinien? Schwanzlutscher. Community-Richtlinien. Hey, Wasi. How's it going? Man, right before I went live, I got a notification about community guidelines. What the fuck is this? Community guidelines. They're starting to censor people. That's the problem here, man. They're starting to censor people. God damn it. What's up, Eugene? How's it going? Yeah. Hello, everybody. Yeah. I just wanted to go live. Number one, because I have nothing to do, nothing else to do. Number two, um, on the 13th, Valentine's Day, there is an amazing, phenomenal, incredible product coming out. It is a video course on psychic seduction. It's going to be Psychic Seduction 2.0. I used to have one, or I still have one, which is Psychic Seduction 1.0. I didn't put too much effort into it. I just filmed a couple of videos and, banked the shit out there. But this one's better, way better, more in depth, more techniques, 2 rituals that you're gonna get. Plus, you're gonna get lessons from the top. When I say top, I mean top. Okay, the world's best pickup artist. He's gonna add or contribute a couple of lectures as well. Okay, so you're gonna get the best of the psychic, energetic influence stuff, as well as like actual pickup techniques. For those of you who are interested in that. Now, the question that always comes up here is usually women ask, "Is that only for guys?" I mean, can I benefit from that as a woman? Of course, 100% you can benefit from it. 100%, yes. Right. I've been studying the occult for some time now, but practice is grueling due to me having aphantasia. Is there anything that can be done about those things? I have no idea what aphantasia is. Aphantasia. I have a couple of associations, but I don't honestly know what it is, so I don't know. I'm not gonna comment on that shit. I mean, I'm sure it's very important to you, but I literally can't give you any qualified answers here. So, no. Sounds great, Frank. I'm sorry, but can you repeat what date the course will be? The course will be available February 13th, this Valentine's Day, which is it's not even a week, right? Like 5 days. 5 days. Then you can get it. It's good stuff. Yeah. The rituals are amazing, as usual. Like all my rituals are. Yeah. And see, if you put these techniques into action, and if you practice a little bit, you would actually see the results. And I always tell people, man, like when it comes down to value, what would it, what from the light of the darkness? Hey, little Frank, is that somehow that's familiar? Is that's either Orly or JD Temple, right? Okay. It's JDL. What's up? How's it going? You disappeared from YouTube, I heard. What's going on? I hope you're fine. Um, Hope it's nothing like no sickness or anything. So yeah. Okay. So I see you. You're watching me. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, I hope you're doing fine. I remember the reading we did not so recently. Hope everything's fine now. I talked to your girlfriend today, actually. Now we were, um, yeah, there's something coming up, but I mean, I'm sure she told you. Anyways, where was I? What was I talking about? Psychic Seduction 2.0. Okay. Um, like I said, uh, from me, you get more like the metaphysical part. Okay, the metaphysical stuff. I explain how magic actually works, how psychic influence is even possible. You know, even though you will not hear the theory in a science textbook, it is very well understood actually. Okay, so if you want the nitty gritty, the details on how it works, because some of us, we need that. Some of us, me too, me included. There's a reason. Yes, we're excited. You will do an amazing job. Absolutely, of course, we always do. Look, guys like me, and I'm sure many others, um, we just need something concrete, something to work with, because the rational mind just needs something to work with, you know. Like purely mystical explanations were never fully satisfying to me. I always wanted to know why, how, and that's why I did a lot of research. Okay, I got a lot of research under my belt, and that's why I can give you that information, which is what I'm going to do. Okay, then we're going to cover spells, very potent spells, and then you're going to get lessons from, I guess, the top pickup artist on the planet. Okay. 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 Anyways, this is supposed to be about love spells. Okay, so if you have any questions about love spells, ask them. Or I think magic in general is also cool. So go ahead, ask your questions, and yeah, let me see what's going on here. Okay, I'll go through my Facebook feed. There's always something interesting going on there. Let's see. I have this fascination with the with the Roman Empire for some reason. I don't know. A couple of years back, or actually a lot further back than that. I think like almost like 10 years or something. For some reason, I fell in love with the Roman Empire. You know, I don't know, love what I heard about the culture, what they were doing. It's just very, very fascinating. And a very a prevalent, or let's say like a popular philosophy was Stoicism. You know, and that's been going through my mind recently. It's very good. Memento mori, memento mori. Guys, I'm very big on using this lifetime to break through samsara, to build on what you're going to do in the afterlife or beyond. I'm not a morbid person, but how should I put it? People could understand it as morbid, but I'm actually not. Just because I talk about death a lot doesn't mean I want to die or don't enjoy living. I actually do enjoy living a lot. I like being alive. I enjoy physical existence, you know, but I also know that it's temporary. So memento mori is just is something that resonates with me a lot, which means it's Latin and means remember that you will die or remember death. Remember death. Okay. I have this meditation that I took from the samurai, where every morning, I focus on death. You know? And I make sure that that day, that very day, I do everything so that I could die at the end of the day and be fine with it because I knew I did the right thing. Because I knew I did the right thing. Yeah. And to me, this is a very, very efficient way of living, or a very, very profound way of living. Because if you really take on that mindset, everything transforms. Everything becomes profound. You know, it's kind of like art. You know, there are many different definitions of art. Okay, what is art? Art. Some people say art makes the mundane abstract and makes the abstract mundane, right? Or other people say that art is taking something mundane and enchanting it, right? Enchanting things. That's really what's happening, right? You got this, let's say, this random homeless person. It's not very, I mean, it's not that exciting to look at, right? But let's take somebody that, or somebody takes a picture of that person, of the random homeless guy, and it's black and white, and it's like the scenery where this guy does the weirdest shit, you know. But it turns into art, you know. It's something that is very, very expressive, and people look at it and it's like ooh, ah, ooh, because it triggers something within them. You see, it triggers something. It triggers emotions, and this is what happens when you walk through life with that mindset. I guarantee it. You know, if you understand that we will all die, okay? Number one, your priorities become so clear, right? Because what really matters? What is it that really matters? And it's not that nothing matters, because that's another false opinion that people come up with. Like, oh, everything's going to end, so nothing matters, right? Nihilists. No, it's not like that. It's not like that. I have seen firsthand. I have explored the afterlife. I know what will come. I know what will come. And there are many books in the making that will introduce you to that, and then how you can explore that yourself and how you can find out for yourself. But there's something awaiting you beyond the veil, okay? A totally different kind of existence. And I think as magicians, at one point we have to kind of like focus on that, on the bigger picture, right? Yeah, we use magic to serve the animal that we are in this body. Of course, yeah. Man, I'm putting out a psychic seduction course. What do you think? I'm a pig, okay? I'm not I'm not claiming to be above all this stuff. I'm not, okay? I'm a very spiritual person. I'm a magician. In fact, I am the top when it comes to that, okay? But at the same time, I'm an animal, like we all are, okay? So we have to feed the animal. We have to give the instincts room, you know, because that's also part of where our magical power comes from in the first place, the life force, right? The life force. And as we nurture that, as we allow that to run freely, we have access to more of that power. And then we focus on energizing something that is eternal beyond us. You know? So memento mori, man. That's really what it is about. Remember that you will die, or remember death. And that's so liberating, man. That's so liberating, because all these fuckers on there, like with their power trips, whatever, the fucking elite Illuminati, whatever you want to call these idiots, you know, or political systems or whatever. Oh, like I don't even know if I can say this shit, but never mind. What I'm saying is, there's only one game that's going on, okay? The game of your consciousness growing, the game of your consciousness evolving. That's the only game in town. Nothing. Nothing else is going on. You know? When we begin to realize that we are aging, and at one point this machine is going to cease to exist and function, this is when we grow up. This is when we grow up. Yeah. This is when we grow up. In fact, I think like magic is probably the only way to really grow up as a person. You know, to really grow up as a being. I think. You see, because look, you could be 90 years old and run to church. You know, it's like let's say they tell you, they tell you you're 90 years old now, and you're like, oh, you got a year to live, or like 6 months. Okay, what will happen at that point? People freak out. They run. I don't know. They discover their religiousness or spirituality, and I don't know. They turn into the weak, pathetic creature that they actually are. You know? Or let's say the mask drops. Okay, the mask drops at that point. Okay, once their material stuff is gone, or it doesn't matter anymore. Once that can't save them, once all of that is gone, you see the actual being, and more often than not, that's quite pathetic. That's what most will say. Yeah, you see. Now, I don't want to end up like that. I don't want to end up old and filthy rich with with peeing my pants, you know, because I don't know, and I will give up a billion just to have 2 more days on this planet. You know, I don't want to end up like that. Okay, and I think magic, afterlife, and then really focusing on what actually matters is really the best way. It's really the best way to grow up and to live your life. Okay. Anyways, what questions do we have? Have you ever experienced being under a love spell? What does it feel like? Yeah, well, I can't tell you for sure, but of course I had feelings for people where I wasn't really comfortable. Like not being comfortable is not, probably not the right way to say it. I have a suspicion. I am not 100% certain that I was under a love spell, but why am I saying this? Because this one time where I'm pretty certain it was a love spell was I had a girlfriend that was a witch. Okay, a girlfriend. Actually, I had multiple girlfriends that were witches, but the one that I'm talking about here, we broke up. You know, we broke up because she was very unreliable and she didn't take it well. And how should I put it, man? She like we rekindled or whatever you want to call that, and I was with her again, and it was out of the ordinary to the extent that I missed her. It was out of the ordinary, and I guess she did something. She never gave me proof, but she probably did something. But look, it's way better if I explain to you what other people say when they're under a love spell. Okay, people claim that they think about the person nonstop. Also, just because somebody's under a love spell, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to act upon it. Okay, we've all experienced that we're attracted to somebody, but we're not really comfortable with that attraction. You see what I mean? And this is where most magicians go wrong, specifically guys, because they don't understand female psychology. Okay, so they're like magicians or like wannabe magicians. Okay, they get their spells together, but at the same time they're like fat and nasty. Don't take showers. Don't like take care of their physical appearance. Don't know anything about game, or rather, and game is just a form of communication. How do you present yourself, or how do you speak to a female of your species to become more attractive to her, you know? And a lot of guys don't know this, and that's why we're putting this into the course as well. You know, there's a reason why I'm bringing you lessons from the top pickup artists in the world, who gets women like insanely attractive women like this. Okay, no problem. And this guy will teach you too. He will give you some lessons. But the reason I'm doing it is because you get the real good results when you combine the psychic stuff, meaning the love spells, the energetic seduction, with the right communication. At that point, you'll be lethal. You see what I mean? So that's why we're bringing this together. You know. So where was I? Yeah. Well, just because somebody's energetically attracted to you, or thinks about you, or feels like sexually attracted to you, doesn't mean that they're automatically going to act upon it. At that point, like I said, you gotta communicate in the right way to let that seed blossom. You know. What else? Um, People think about, they dream about you. Uh, I don't know. Like, have you ever been in love? Have you ever fantasized about someone? I'm not just talking about sexual stuff. Okay. And for those of, like, I'm sure not many of you think what I'm about to go into, but some of you do. That's why I have to clarify it. See, sexual feel or sexual attraction and the feeling of being in love are not opposites. In fact, the sexual attraction comes first. Okay. And then love is built upon that. Okay. At least when it comes to love that is based on procreation. Okay. You're never going to be able to make a woman fall in love with you, or a man fall in love with you, that is not sexually attracted to you. Okay. The sexual attraction comes first, by the way. Okay. Just so you know. Otherwise, it's like the love that you would have for a puppy. Okay. But when it comes to love that is connected to procreation, some sort of, somewhere or another, sexual attraction has to come first. Okay. Now, for the most part, for guys, we're actually in a I think we're in a fortunate situation here, because I think women aren't as superficial as we are when it comes to that. Okay. I think women have an easier time. I'm not saying like they don't care about that at all. Of course they do care about physical traits and whatnot, but I think women have an easier time valuing something like personality higher than physical traits, right? You know where I'm going with this, right? So I think love spells as like as a guy done on a woman are probably are going to work better than vice versa. I hope I'm making myself clear here. Nachricht zurückgezogen. How long can a love spell last? Depends on, man. It depends on the type of spell you do. It depends on the resistance of the target. That depends on your strength. So many factors, but the common factor is going to be energy. Okay, how strong is the energy that has been put into into the spell. For me, a love spell has always felt like having a different thought pattern and different emotional palette overlaying your own, especially when spirits and constructs are involved. Okay, like having two different sets of feelings for someone, but only one is yours. Okay, yeah, that's a way to put it. Okay. Yes, men are more attracted based on visual stimuli usually. Yep. Can you cast a spell on yourself to not want a woman who is bad for you, or make yourself stop giving in to that person? Okay, you're probably a guy if you're asking this question, right? Look, if you have, like in the pickup community or in the science of attraction, or whatever you want to call that, okay, science of persuasion, that's called one-itis, what you're talking about here, one-itis. And one-itis meaning the fixation on one woman that is in, that becomes your world. That's a result of a lack of options. That's really it. Yeah. So I would work on myself and get more chicks. That's what I would do. If you want to get over a woman, the best way to do that is to get a new one. Period. That's just it's just the way it is. You know? I don't know what you're gonna tell me. Oh no, she's so special. She's when she she smiles in that special way. Well, every woman has a quirk. I think every woman has a quirk, and I'm not saying that like of course they're all special, you know, but the solution that I found, if you have that, if you have one-itis, if you think like, oh, she's your world and you become so dependent on her, have a lack of options. Because have you ever had three, four at the same time? Man, that puts you in a completely different position. Your vibe is totally different, bro. Trust me. Your vibe will be totally different. She will feel it. Every single one of those women will feel it. You know, that's you come with a totally different vibe. You will not be controllable at all. You see, because what does she have to control you at that point? Oh, she shuts this down. Okay, good. I got like four other options. You know, so that's my suggestion. If she has that kind of power over you, you want to have more options or work on having more options. Okay. Glad I caught you live. How can you prevent an uninvited entity from having sex with you during sleep time? Like the way you think resonates well. Okay. Do something like this. You know, you sage your place out before you go to bed. Um, you know, which one should I do now? You know, thank you for reminding me. I wanted to do this anyway. So, what you do is you just keep the energy in your place clean. You know, the best. Should I put it? The best way to keep, or the best metaphor for like certain herbs or incenses that cleanse your place and their effect on the entities would be, they work like tear gas in a lot of ways, you know. They work like tear gas to low vibrational entities, you see. So it's gonna be very, very, very uncomfortable and almost impossible for like low vibrational entities to stay around you if your place is cleansed with certain herbs, you know. Now, if you are vibrating at a frequency that attracts that, how do you know that? You know that based on your emotional patterns. How do you feel? Do you feel desperate? Do you feel depressed? Do you feel negative? Do you have negative thought patterns? Do you have, low frequency emotions? At that point, you're attracting that. Never forget that it's a vibrational universe. So what you're resonating at, this is what you're attracting. You're like a radio, right? So besides keeping your space clean, work on yourself. And when I say work on yourself, get a Reiki attunement. That's always a great way to raise your vibration, And at that point, you have access to an energy that you can call upon at any time, and clean yourself out, And over time, the more you work with that energy, the more smooth your aura will become. It will actually become very, very smooth, and all these ripples will be removed. At that point, negative entities will have a harder time attaching themselves to you. Okay, through spiritual eyes, yes, you will see spirits, but as you when you observe that with your third eye, here's what you also see: the aura of people that are very susceptible to spiritual critters, predators, whatever, is not very. How should I put it? There are bumps in it. Okay, it's not an egg, the aura of those people. There are a lot of bumps, and sometimes parts are taken out, a lot of holes in it, and that gives entities, which are energy, it gives entities a spot to attach themselves to. You know, so do that. Clean out your energy. Clean your chakras. Clean your chakras. Do some chakra meditation. Learn a banishing ritual. Never forget that the ritual is only as strong as you are. Okay. Like my first teacher told me, my first mentor, he said, magic is only as alive as the sorcerer. Never forget that. And that applies to anything, from your sins to your lesser banishing rituals, all the way up to the most elaborate stuff you could ever do. It's always about magician. How much energy can you raise? How clearly can you focus? How long can you visualize? You see, all of that, all of that plays into it. Do love spells backfire? If so, how would I prevent that? Yeah, I mean, we got to define things. We got to define terms. Okay, before we speak of anything, we have to define what we're actually talking about. Because believe it or not, most of the conflicts in your life, as well as in like the world as a whole, are caused by unclear definition of words. It's almost as if, let's say, look, if the world was a street with different cars on it, and those vehicles would be the individuals that interact with each other, and the street signs were the words, okay? And nobody had ever clearly defined what a street sign, let's say a stop sign, means. Everybody has their own interpretation. Everybody's just going to do whatever the fuck they want, and that will cause chaos, that will cause accidents, that will cause a lot of problems, right? Now, this is actually what's going on with language, you see? So people say something, they just throw something out there, and they assume the meaning behind it. And the other person has a completely different meaning that they assume, you see? And at that point, people are just talking, not like they're not communicating. It's not a back and forth. It's actually, okay, the one person is saying this, the other person is saying this, and everybody's like, hey, everybody is like nuts. Why? It seems they don't understand what I'm saying, right? Yeah, because you never explained what the fuck you're actually talking about, what you mean, okay? That's just a side note here. We got to define terms before we talk about things. Okay? So, how would you, hold on, do love spells backfire? Okay, what does that actually mean? Okay, let me give you one option of what I assume you mean with that question. Okay? Could the love spell have unintended negative consequences for me? Okay, let's say I do a love spell and it doesn't work. Well, most of the time, you're just not going to see the results. Okay, and straight up, Veronica 6. When did you do that? When did you do that? When did you do that? Okay, let me answer this question first. Okay, so um, huh, hold on, where was I? Okay, so I do a love spell. Okay, I do a love spell, and a week ago through your website, I didn't see, I didn't see that coming. But okay, I'll check later, and I will contact you through email. Okay. Anyways, um, let's say I do a love spell, and it doesn't work. Okay, that's what's gonna happen most of the time. When your rituals don't work, usually energy is the limiting factor. Okay, so your energy, the energy that you put into the ritual, was not sufficient, was not enough. Okay, that's what happens most of the time for most people. When you can rule that out, you see, let's say through body language, and you see that the behavior of that person changes. You see that it is moving into the right direction. Yeah? So you have changed how they feel about you, how they perceive you. But that doesn't automatically mean that that person is going to take action. You see what I mean? And we've all seen that or felt it. Let's say you're attracted to a specific person. So you're attracted to them. Does that mean that you're going to suggest sex right away? Maybe when you're drunk. Okay, but you're not going to do that. I'm telling you that so many people are attracted to each other, but they can't, like, they never fuck, or they never get together to have sex, or to be a couple or whatever, just because they can't communicate that in the right way. You know, they're like fucking high schoolers. Nobody knows how to act. See, the guy's like super into her, and she's like super, like she gets super shy when he's around. It's like, oh my god, this guy's so, oh, she's so special, right? So both want each other, but both don't know how to talk to each other. So nothing happens. You know what I mean? So that's why it's so important that you learn how to communicate that. You know, how do you actually speak? How do you actually tell stories that make the other person understand what it is like, or how do you entice the other sex to want to be with you, or to want to act upon what they're feeling? You see what I mean? Because most of the time, people like, and you know how it is. It's kind of awkward. You're attracted to that person, but you don't know if that person is also attracted to you. So you're like, you know, wouldn't it be interesting? I mean, I think it would be so funny if, let's say, we would all be walk around, and when we meet a person that we find attractive or sexually attractive, something lights up on the front of our heads. That would make things so much easier. You know, so you go into a coffee shop, the waitress, boom, you know, red light. You're like, red light, boom. Okay, let's go. That would be awesome. That would be an amazing world, right? Everybody would just be fucking all day. Make love, no war. Yeah. Anyways, no, but the problem is people don't communicate, or can't communicate, don't know how to communicate. All right. So worst case, or usually the worst case, is that nothing's gonna happen. Okay. The second worst case is she or he begins to feel attracted to you, even dreams about you, but you don't know how to read the hints, read the signs, and to facilitate that, to make the seed blossom. Okay, to make the seed blossom into this beautiful fuck fest that it's supposed to be. All right. Okay, don't let me go into this direction now. But We have those lights already. We just cover them in clothing. Right? Yeah. Right. Yeah. 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 I think that would be a better world. I think that would be a better world. Yeah. Much better. If we got condoms and then everything else to take care of that. Yeah. Make love, not war. Like nobody would have time to make war anymore, right? Do they? Although they say that um, you know, polygamous societies turn super violent. That's what they say. I don't know because it's already like 80, like 20%. I don't know if you're familiar. Are you familiar with Pareto? You're probably not, right? But Pareto is a principle that um, that looks at the distribution of things. Okay, and what does that mean? Pareto was an Italian scientist, and he discovered that everything is distributed in that way. 20%, 20/80. What does it mean? 20% of the leaves on a tree produce 80% of the oxygen. Okay? 20% of all rivers carry 80% of the water. 20% of all men get 80% of all the women. You know, so nature probably doesn't want that. Okay, so we need a competitive advantage. You need a competitive advantage, guys. We all need that. We all do. See, there's nothing wrong with that. The competitive advantage that we have is witchcraft, is magic. Okay, get psychic seduction 2.0. your your competitive advantage in the mating ritual of our species here. Okay, you get occult rituals and you get teachings and lessons and communication from the top pickup artist on this planet. Nature is elitist. Yeah. Do you think it is ever right to the right thing to do a love spell or do a spell to find someone else? Man, I think that's a case to case decision. You know, right? Like, what do you want me to say? There's no generic answer for that. You know, it all depends on so many variables. But here's what I would say: some people are worth it. Some people aren't worth it. Some people can be replaced very quickly. Some people cannot be replaced very quickly. So it really depends, man. It really depends. So here's what I do. Here's what I look. A woman that is worth it to me, to really like care about and to make it try to work out, where I invest a lot of energy. It's not just sexual. Definitely not. There are two factors. Of course, I have to see myself having sex with that person, but I also have to have natural chemistry. Okay, I make a joke, she laughs. She makes a joke, I laugh. I think she's funny. You know, and there are multiple things that play into that. You know, like humor is such a complex thing, and it tells you so much about that person. You know, that they have humor. It's like that they can crack a joke that is actually funny. Tells you so much about that person. You know, and I don't know. Like sex. Those are the two things that I look at. You know, can I see myself having sex with that person? Number two, uh, can I have can I have a funny conversation with that person? Not just funny, but also like stimulating in some way or another, right? Like pretty much what everybody else wants to, you know. And I'm not monogamous, by the way. I'm not. So I claim to have sex with multiple women, and that's by choice. But I would never lie to a woman that she's the only one like I would want to have sex with. That's I don't do that, you know. And if I do, that's just a choice. That's I'm choosing to be monogamous for this period of time. Yeah. Like, what the fuck is this turning into, man? This was supposed to about was supposed to be about love spells, and now I'm talking about like as if I'm sitting on a fucking couch here. What is this? Well, it all began with my mother, right? Okay, Frank, you're right that people don't know how to talk to one another to get past that phase where they want to get to the sex part. Yeah, because nobody's educated on that stuff, right? But look, every species has a mating ritual. Every single species out there, even fucking bees, have a mating ritual, a mating dance, right? Don't you think we have that too? You know, there's a syntax to that. And I'm sure most of you guys, my audience, you know, of course, a lot of you guys know about that stuff, right? Hypothetically, what could one expect if they performed psychic seduction or love spell on an entity? On an entity. Okay, well, hypothetically. Look, I said before, I think, that the type of seduction that I'm talking about and the type of attraction that I'm talking about has to have sexual attraction as the basis. You see what I mean? Sexuality is by definition an exchange of genetic material. You see what I mean? Like an entity, like a spirit, a demon doesn't have like genetic material, right? Right? I don't know, like. So that doesn't really make sense in this context, you know. Energy exchange with an entity, yeah, and for some reason it triggers sexual emotions within you or sexual feelings, yeah. But that's because of the energy exchange, you know, because life force is being exchanged, Kundalini force that is also moving through you to a large extent when you're sexually aroused. But you're not gonna do a love spell on a demon. The fuck? That makes no sense, bro. I'm just saying, you know, I'm not bashing your question or anything. I'm just saying that makes no sense, you know. So I'm not monogamous either. I understand when you're what you're coming from polyamory, just not whatever. Okay, polyamory. Yeah. Hi Frank, when are you gonna start me up on your meditation program? We talked on Skype 4 weeks ago. I've added you to Periscope um, and the Google Drive folder. I think I did. So you should have an invitation in your email, and if not, if you haven't sent me the Gmail email address, then do that. But I mean, if you sent me the email, and if we talked before, I have definitely added you to that program. I can't remember you specifically because I have so many people on there, but if you haven't been added, you haven't sent me the email. I'm pretty sure. And you have not added me on Periscope if that hasn't happened. It's not natural to be monogamous, plus it's not desirable. Huh? Have you talked about the process of energy projection from the magus getting into a state and transferring it to the objective? No, I haven't talked about that yet. Up until now I was discussing the intricacies of monogamy and polyamory and the benefits of having multiple sex partners and how bad the communication between the genders is and whatever. You know. We got a little bit off course. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, man, that's an interesting topic, polyamory. Polyamory. Yeah, but look, we can't forget the energetic part that comes with having sex as well. You see, so right? I mean, having sex is that's quite an intense energy transfer with that person, you know. So I don't know if that's that beneficial either, you know. You see what I mean? Let's say you're in a relationship with somebody and the other person is constantly like having new partners and whatnot, and is really overdoing it. That could affect you negatively as well. So I don't know. Like everything in moderation. All I'm saying is that like it's a complicated thing, man. It's a complicated thing. I think most of the time, listening to your emotions and listening to your energy is gonna send you the right way. Yeah, man. Hypothetically, how would things play out if one was to perform a love spell on the entire system? Look, look. I think you didn't. Did you hear my answer before? Love spell, in the definition that we're using it here, has to do with a potential sex partner. It could be either a man or a woman. And what is being exchanged is genetic material. You see what I mean? Sex. The basis of sex is like fucking, man. I'm talking about fucking. Talking about dick and whatever. Sometimes it's dick and dick. Sometimes dick and pussy. Like pussy and pussy. Whatever. You know. But there has to be some sort of like sexual activity there, like physical sexual activity. Everything else is not a love spell. I don't know. You know, I know that's probably for some of you that's maybe a very very like limited description of sexuality because I mean there are objective files too. You know, I recently like I saw a documentary about a woman that is in love with planes, with little models of planes, you know. And what triggered that fetish for her was she was at an airport and and she like, they take her to this airport and she explains to the camera how she fell in love with this airplane, yeah. And she's standing in front of you know, like in the background there's the airplane, and she's like, "Oh my God, I fell in love with his shape, the nose, and you know the colors and all of this stuff." And her whole house is like packed with these models of this plane. I think it's a Boeing 77 or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, like, do you have to judge this? You know, things that people like, and hey, do whatever you want. But for this top in here, we're gonna we're gonna stay in the realm of two people, whether heterosexual, homosexual, doesn't matter. You know, trying to influence to have sex, right? Or to start a relationship. What's up? By the way, I'm interested. All of you ladies on this call, please let me know if you're bisexual because I have a theory that like 90% of the women that I know are bisexual. I just want to test here. Like, please let me know. Are you bisexual or bi-curious? Okay, bi-curious. Please let me know. All of you women, if you're comfortable with answering that question, please let me know if you're bisexual or bi-curious. Okay, I want to test that. Yes. Okay, good. Bi-curious, okay. Yep. Okay, good. Yeah, yeah, I thought so. Who could blame you, right? Who could blame you? The female body is just, it's incredible, right? Isn't it? Bi-curious. Yeah, definitely. Frank, you get some weird ass questions that are hard for me to even figure out. I'm not bothered at all. Look, man, I think this call is very, very interesting, man. Yeah, to all you bi-curious women and bisexual women, who could blame you? Or like homosexual women, who could blame you? The female body is just something very, very special to me, to us all. Yeah. You know what's my favorite end to an argument that I have with a girl that I'm involved in? I tell them, sit on my face. That's what I tell them. Just sit on my face. You know? She goes nuts and does drama. You know? Starts to pick a fight. I tell her to sit on my face. Come here, sit on my face. Or I'm gonna have somebody else sit on my face, some other girl. That also ends it usually. Now here's another theory that I have. If there's drama for no reason, there is energy being misused. Energy being misused. And what is actually being said and what is actually required is a release of that energy. And my job at that point is to help her release that energy in mutually pleasurable ways. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So drama for no reason is actually that. I don't know what to do with all of this energy. I don't know what to do with all of these emotions. Help me. Help me release that. Right? Help me release that. Okay. Man, where the fuck is this going? We were supposed to talk about love spells, right? And now I'm talking about my weird theories about how to deal with drama. God damn it. Yeah. Is the psychic seduction course friendly to all fetishes? What does it mean? What does it mean? Yeah, we have no. I have different lessons for the BDSM community. For like, what do you mean friendly to all fetishes, bro? Like, what do you? And I'm not trashing your like. Yeah, of course. I'm glad you asked, but I don't know what to answer to that. What do you mean fetishes? What do you mean fetishes? Here's what I think. When it comes to fetishes, when it comes to like exploring different types of like, I don't know, man. Here's my thought. I think we're all perverts, like straight up. I think everybody's a pervert. Okay, like it's just what it is, you know. And I know you don't have to agree with me, but in my experience, pretty much everybody is a little bit kinky, you know. And in my experience, you will find a pervert in every person that you spend that you have a relationship with for a time. And pervert not in a negative way, not in any forbidden way, but more in a type of like a person that wants to experiment, a person that has like fantasies, interests that they couldn't live out with anybody else, and if you give them the opportunity to live that out with you first hand, like first time, um, they're gonna be grateful, you know. If you can give a woman the sensation of taking her into a trance and allowing her to get past all of those like social limitations that she has, you know, and then you allow her to access all of those sexual fantasies that she was never allowed to live out with anyone, and she can give herself like she can give herself permission to live that out right now with you. You will see some amazing stuff happen. Trust me. That's a lot of fun, you know, and she's gonna love you for that, and you're gonna enjoy it too. Absolutely. So, man, fetish. What do you mean fetish? Like we all have fetishes. We all want to experiment. We all want to do crazy stuff from time to time. So I don't know. Yeah, it's fetish friendly to everybody. It's friendly to all. I don't even know what to answer to this shit. I don't know. My girl had a panda fetish until I removed it from her. Are you referring to the hair around here? I don't know, like a panda fetish. What is that? What is that? How do you properly and effectively use sex magic for manifestation? Costumes. Oh, uh-huh. Well, you know what they say when it comes to sexual. I don't know. They say there is a certain age when there's an imprinting phase. You know, when it comes to the development of the psyche and sexuality and whatnot, there is an imprinting phase, and something that occurs during that time has an influence on, on what fetishes develop and in what direction sexuality will go. It's quite interesting. I don't know if that's a fact, but I know there are some weird fetishes out there. Yeah, panda fetish. The fuck is this? Like, wow. I theorize that the nature of hosting a love spell Q&A live stream brings to light how freaky you and your subscribers are. I don't think I'm freaky at all, man. I think I'm just a guy, a normal guy. Freaky. I'm not freaky, man. What are you talking about? Just a guy that likes to fuck. That's all. Like everybody else. If you don't like to fuck, there's something wrong with you. Yeah. And yeah. What would be a simple love spell for an inexperienced person and see it manifest? Get the course. Get the course. I'm not gonna explain this here. Like I got a couple of love spells on my channel, I think, or at least one. I have a question, Frank. Can multiple love spells on one person have the opposite effect? Nope. No. No. But that goes back to what we were talking about before. Okay, people don't know how to communicate their attraction. Okay, let's say I have a girlfriend and she brings me a lot of drama. Okay, for no reason, everything's fine, and she just creates drama and looks for things that are just like she makes shit up that is wrong. It's not even there. Okay, and I find out that the way to handle that is not to go into like to explain myself, but to actually make her more upset, and on the like at the height of her emotional upheaval, I have sex with her. Okay, so what I because I communicate better because I know what's actually going on with her. I know that she's trying to suppress her sexual desire, and she doesn't know how to deal with that energy. Okay, so I help her release that. Let's say somebody, you do a love spell on that person, and you do another one and another one and another one. That's a buildup of this desire for you. Okay, that could come out in a weird way. And I'm sure you've acted like that before. I'm sure you've acted like that before. You're attracted to somebody, and then all of a sudden you have a conversation with them, and you're so like you don't know how to say it, and then you don't want to come across as too easy, and then all of a sudden you act as if you hate them, or you say something very rude. Okay, an emotional response. And by the way, for all of you guys, if you get very emotional responses from women often for no reason, that's usually a sign that you have, or that they could be attracted to you. Okay, because there's some underlying emotion there, some underlying energy. Anyways, it comes down to the communication. So a love spell is usually not going to cause its opposite. Okay, but if you're seeing signs that they're acting in a way which could seem like it's the opposite, this is what's going on. They're not able to communicate their desire in the right way. So you have to help them communicate that, so you can end up having some nasty fun together. You know? Remember this: we always want to take the seed and help it blossom into this beautiful fuck fest that it's supposed to be. Are all love spells dangerous, or are there good ones as well? I don't even know what you're talking about, man. I never like your question has so many assumptions in it. I don't even know what to make out of it. Like, when did I say that all love spells are dangerous? Ever? Did I say that ever? No. So your question has an assumption in it that I don't know. Makes no sense. Are you releasing a new psychic seduction course with Arash soon? No, I'm releasing it, and there will be lectures of Arash involved in it. You've appeared in my dreams unexpectedly. Yep, because it's not happened. I did not appear in your dreams. At least I did not go there intentionally. Okay, I'm gonna write this up now. Um, Remember, Psychic Seduction Course 2.0 is going to be available on the 13th. And like I said, it's going to have a psychic part, psychic techniques, rituals by me, and then you're going to get lectures from the top pickup artist in the world. It's going to help you communicate in the right way so that the desire can actually blossom. From the seed that we planted to the beautiful fuck fest that it's supposed to be. All right. Okay, I'm out. Peace.